Welcome to the Angler Talk Podcast with Chris and Aaron. Brought to you by FishingMagicianTV.com.
What is up, everybody? It's Chris back with the weekly episode of Angler Talk, the season finale for 2022. And man, 2022 had its highs, had its lows, but the fishing is still high. You know, just to give you a fishing report for the last time this year, the striped bass are still being caught. I'm talking about really big girls all the way up and down the Jersey coast. Chuck the Tie Man Manning, I mean, this guy is just a beast. I mean, he's posting pictures of high 40s, 50-pound fish still being caught in the northern central Jersey area. I see a lot of my guys at the Atlantic City Saltwater Angler Fishing Club. They're posting a lot of pictures of big fish being caught. Also, of course, the man himself, the monger, Jerry Pastorino, is posting fish of beautiful, beautiful blackfish pictures. I mean, the fishing is still red hot. It's still insane. Guys, get out there. You got a vest. You got some gloves. Get out there. Bend the rod. You're not going to be disappointed. Man, but for this week, I got a very good friend of mine, a teacher of mine from when I was in Florida. I worked with him at his tackle shop by the name of Captain Bruce Hroback, and he is a good guy. We're going to talk some Jersey fishing, some Florida fishing, and I hope you guys enjoy. And here I am with Captain Bruce Hroback. How we going, buddy? It's been a long time.
Yeah, going pretty good here, buddy, in Florida.
Man.
We're living a dream, you know. Down here, we got the warm weather in the winter, and pretty much a lot different than living in New Jersey over 20 years ago.
And when I was down there, you know, I did work with you at the famous Billy Bones Bait and Tackle, man. And you know, like you just said, you are an original Jersey guy, and now you're out there in Florida. And you know, it was definitely a change of scenery from you coming from the Northeast down there. You know, how did you get into, you know, the business of bait and tackle? How did it all start?
My elder brother was actually in the business, and he had a place in Hardwick called Red Hawk Outdoors. So we did a lot of freshwater fishing and so forth. But I was an outdoor writer for the New Jersey Fisherman magazine. I used to make my own jigs and stuff like that down there. And I did chartering from the time I'm 25 years old. I ran a boat called the Wave Dancer. It was out of Barnegat Inlet, and it was also out of Point Pleasant Inlet. And I was the fleet captain at the Jersey Coast Shark Anglers for many years, a good group of guys and gals, and they do a lot of good things. And it was pretty good up there. I had a good time, and I basically, the question was that, you know, how did I get into bait and tackle? That was my passion. And the reason that I got into it was because I always wanted to be that guy that was walking through the door. That was me after a hard week's work, you know, and I was going to make sure that my customer's day, who was me, when I was always waiting for that Saturday or Sunday to get out or whatever, because you're working all damn week, you know. That I wanted to give them the best time I could, you know. But to answer your question about how and I just started the bait and tackle was because I was doing construction, and I was a charter captain doing my charters mostly on the weekend, some during the week when construction was slower, and I'd keep busy with that. But I wanted to go into it full time, always deep in my heart. But I was by the towers on 9/11, and I seen people dying, and it was terrible. And that was 9/11, and God bless our country and everything that they went through. But by October 1st, I was already had everything together, and I opened up my very first full-time bait and tackle shop 7 days a week. It's on Manilokin Road still. Someone else is running it. I think he's a fireman or something, but it was called Jersey Coast Bait and Tackle on Manilokin Road in Brick, New Jersey. And it was a lot of fun, and a lot of stripers up there, a lot of surf fishing tournaments, and the big bait was clams and high-low rigs for the surf fishermen. That was the big deal. And fluke, of course, you know. and
Absolutely, man.
a lot of
Uh,
stripers.
I mean, so what made you, say to yourself, you know what, I want to get down to the Sunshine State? Was it just the snow, or was it maybe you thought the fishing was better, or what made you make that move from Jersey to Florida?
Oh boy, that's pretty easy. I tell people. So I had bigger boats, and I had one of the nicest boats I ever owned, but it kept breaking down. Very expensive. A 32-foot Blackfin combi with
Mm,
8.2 Detroits, and it was a 300 horse instead of a 200 horse. So the turbos, it was pushing a little more out of the motor and had a lot of problems. But I finally got myself a boat that was perfect with. It was like a Tierra, and it had brand new Volvos in it, the diesels, the whole 9 yards. What a great charter boat! What a great fishing boat! And reliability was insane because they were like brand new diesels. Because I sold my
nice.
Blackfin, got into that at a super great deal. I actually got the boat literally for free. It was amazing because
Hmm.
with selling my boat at a higher number, Blackfin, big money that here goes my dog. But yeah, that I was able to get that boat real reasonable. It's fantastic, and I wanted to get to Florida because that boat had a transom door, and on the
Okay.
transom door, one day I can remember it snowed so hard, and my wife said to me, "Yeah, go shovel the snow." And I said, "Yeah, of course I'm going to do that," but I says I am not shoveling a single shovel of snow on any path anywhere here around this house. I'm going to make my way to my boat with the ice heater on, Chris, and I shoveled the snow with a plastic snow shovel out of my boat through that transom door and had to clean the snow off my boat. And I said, I've had enough. It's time. I was I was in my early 40s. I mean, no, wait, it was like, I might have been later 30s or something, but I was younger. And I said, you know what? Life is, after going through the trade center and then poor souls and seeing everything go on and everything else, I just figured that, you know what, I'm going to do what I love to do. Nothing's going to hold me back. And I did. I just made the move to Florida because that's where I always dreamed of. I
Absolutely.
had fished here before, and just fishing year round was just exciting enough just to hear that.
I mean, I agree with you, man. I mean, last year when I made that plunge to, I went down to Florida just on the notion to work. I wasn't going to move there full time, just as of yet, but it is definitely, especially as an angler, it is definitely an addicting place because at any given moment, any time of the day, or pretty much anywhere in the state, you can catch so many different species. And as an angler, I can see how that, ropes you in.
Yeah,
I remember when I worked with you over at Billy Bones, how many times I just stop at the causeway, throw a piece of shrimp, and you catch anything from sea trout to tarpon to amberjacks. I mean, just so much over there, man.
that's exactly right. And that's what it is. It's crazy. And I mean, I didn't do a lot of freshwater fishing up in Jersey. I mean,
Hmm.
we got a trout stocking program we started for my brother that passed away, my younger brother. It's called the Jude Hroback Trout Stocking Program. And around Asbury and stuff, we have fishing tournaments and do stocking for kids, and all it's free. But that was fun and whatnot. But to change the subject here now and come down to Florida, is that freshwater fishing in Florida is absolutely, I know you remember from being at the
Yeah,
shop, as I shared,
off the
insane
charts.
because, I mean, there's huge, huge bass. You got Lake Okeechobee's not far from me, but you got
Yeah.
Roland Martin there with the Roland Martin Marina and a lot of little ponds and lakes. And people come in the store and they're like, where can I catch bass? And I tell them a simple answer: anywhere there's water. It's true.
Yeah, pretty much, man. I
Now,
mean,
those little canals sometimes are 15 feet deep or more. It's crazy. But what throws the real cool thing into Florida fishing, it's we call it Florida Amazon, Amazing Amazon. And we
yeah,
go south of Palm Beach County, like Lake Ida, around Griffin Road, all of that. And we catch tropical peacock bass. It's insane. We
yeah,
catch largemouth. We even down in Lake Ida, we catch the hybrid stripers. I've
yeah.
caught some of them down here, but we catch, believe it or not, a fish that's very tropical, and I'm sure many New Jersey, New York people haven't had them in their tank, a clown knife fish. You've had
Yes.
Yeah. So we catch them. I got some pictures of that with them, and they're amazing. And the peacocks, and it's just that's the only way to put it is Florida's amazing Amazon. And if you go into the Everglades in certain areas, we finally found a couple places down there where we go, and there's actually loaded. When I mean loaded, loaded with Oscar fish, like you would pay $150 a piece for. I mean, they're just running wild. There's orange tiger Oscars or red tiger Oscars. There's albino tiger Oscars. There's like a black Oscar. One time,
Yeah.
this young man, Colin, we used to talk with him a lot. I think he's getting a little older. He's not as much on Instagram, but that kid one time, and his dad's a real nice guy. The two of them would come to the store and all. And he showed me down by Everglades Holiday Parks, the Gator Boys and all that used to be on TV. I don't think it's on there anymore, but he was messing around with Oscars there. Chris, he caught an Oscar in its tail. It was, I'm not talking no BS. It was chartreuse. It was neon green, and it wasn't nuclear. And it had the green spot. I've never seen that in my entire life, and never seen another one after that. But
That's awesome.
along with those other freshwater fish that we have, the clown knives and the peacock bass and all of that, and Oscars and stuff like that. We see fish that we had in our fish tank, like tropical cichlids, and
Yeah.
for instance, down towards Miami, a friend of mine, High Trung, he does guiding, and I'll tell you, lots of jewel cichlid, beautiful
Yes.
and amazing.
Absolutely, man. I remember and I'm pretty sure he's still a customer. We had a guy named Jerome that would come in pretty much every other day to buy shiners, and I'm like, "What are you freshwater fishing for? Are you just targeting bass or what?" He's like, "Nah, man, I go for cichlids." And I'm like,
Yeah,
"Really? And you're catching cichlids big enough to eat shiners?" I mean, because we had the big shiners in the store.
yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, man, I like to eat them. They tasted great." And I said, "Whoa, okay, that's
It's
different."
like a big secret. Like
And yeah,
I'm
he showed me a picture of this Oscar. It was a tiger Oscar that he caught in one of the lakes nearby. And this thing had to be, not being dramatic with it. This was about a 7 pound Oscar. This is a big fish. And
yeah,
that's the thing about Florida, man. I mean, I understand the harm that it does to the ecosystems when people are letting out these fish that they buy and they don't understand how big it's going to get and their tank can't hold it and they just go run to the canal and throw it out. But I mean, the diversity of all these species down there, it's literally like what you said, the amazing Amazon, but it's the angler's paradise.
oh yeah.
For there's so much that you can catch at any given moment. I mean, any day of the week, if you really wanted to, you can probably catch 100 different species in Florida. That's how insane it is over there.
Really could, yeah. We're going out tomorrow. We're going to fish in the river on our flats boat, and we'll be targeting. Believe it or not, we'll see if there's some pompano around here, and we have more fun with those jigs and shrimp catching ladyfish, which is a cousin of the tarpon, and they fight like crazy.
Oh
And
yeah, they are
we,
fun to catch, and they are tarpon candy as well.
yep. We get grouper. We might catch some snook and all kind of that, and snapper and so on. But it's pretty amazing, what I find down here in Florida compared to New Jersey. I used to mako fish, and like I said, I used to write and do the tournaments with all the guys for the New Jersey fishermen, and I was a fleet captain at Jersey Coast Shark Anglers. We did tournaments, and we used to have to go to Chicken Canyon, the Fingers. Everybody go to a Reeser Wreck. It was like a parking lot for mako sharks, and off the 28-mile wreck, going like 40 something miles out. Well, my point here in Florida, like within 14 miles, Chris, is Push Button Hill, and it goes down to 700, 800 feet. We could catch dolphin literally within close sight of the beach. We catch them in 35 feet of water sometimes. And my theory between fishing offshore and telling customers, we catch a lot of sailfish and all that is, my thing is that, okay, I fish no name spots, that meaning I find on the charts and so on, not just a particular area, but I'll kind of fish around that area. But basically, like as I'm running the boat along, if I start seeing flying fish, you better believe I'm going to try to fish there. Because if there's flying fish and life there, you damn well bet there's going to be some game fish, Not all the
Absolutely.
time, but I would say 75 to 80% of the time, And
Well, yeah,
uh,
well, like you said, where's flying fish? More chances than not, there's gonna be some mahi right behind them, man,
yeah,
for sure.
and everything else. Sail fishing down here is insane.
Yeah,
Um, we do something on our boat now, which we did on our Grady White as well, but our 28 Nautic Star now. I don't have any more inboard boats. We also need down in Florida is these quick running outboard boats in case there's storms and such in the summer. You want to get in before that, but as long as you're
yeah,
in by after 12 o'clock noon time, you're gonna good chance you won't get hit by any kind of storms. But
yeah.
yeah, so we would do bump trolling, so you could throw out live pilchards or greenies or sardines and run two rods, one on an outrigger, one on a weight, and just pump one engine into gear. Use one engine, let it lift the bait up, let it drop down. Let it lift the bait up, let it drop down. Meaning bump your boat in gear and troll real slow and run and cover a big area. And we catch big dolphin like that and sailfish galore. My son caught one of the biggest sailfish I seen last season. It was like probably 9 feet or something. I don't even
Wow.
know. Didn't really measure it. It was well over 8 with the bill and all. That's with the bill, you got to include that in the tail and all. But it
Oh,
was
absolutely.
huge, huge. And that was fun. That was a fight. And I knew it was a big fish because it walked him around at center console like a few times. And then
Yeah.
this year, to my surprise, I had a gentleman on board, Kurt Hoyer, and he fishes the Port St. Lucie Anglers Club, and he got the big shit fish of the month because he was on the boat. The rod went off. I hooked up for him, passed off, and I says, "Oh, there's a nice sailfish." So he's fighting it up. It was a white marlin. That was cool. So that's my first white marlin in Florida, but they are here. Um,
Absolutely.
there's even blue marlin if you go deeper, and stuff like that. But offshore is amazing here. Right now it's December going into January. So our big fish here is an area called Peck's Lake, and we
Mhm.
will go there for Spanish mackerel. And Spanish mackerel, people can smoke them, they can fillet them, but they're
Oh
actually
yeah.
best smoke, and they make fish dip out of them.
Oh yeah,
So
it's a great tasting fish. I mean, actually, my first time ever in Florida, which was in the Keys a few years ago, before I went down there, I visited on vacation, and that was actually the first fish that I've ever caught was the in Florida was the Spanish Mac, and hell of a
like,
fighting fish, and
yeah.
honestly, it tastes great, man. We took that
Yeah.
thing over to a little place called Lazy Days. And
Oh yeah.
one of my favorite things about Florida is the catch and cook program with the restaurants. For $13, they made one hell of a meal, and that was
Oh yeah.
absolutely delicious. You
Yeah.
know,
We went to Lazy Days. I had the doc with me and Tanner, my son, and we were
yeah,
under Whale Harbor Bridge right before Lazy Days. And we were
mm,
fishing in our boat, our flats boat under there. We had a Pathfinder 22 at the time, and the water's running towards the bridge. We were chumming. Well, man, we loaded up on beautiful snapper. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
most of them mangroves, and there was some muttons. We brought everything over to Lazy Days, like you're saying. Man, was it good. But
absolutely, man.
there's more fish inside sometimes by them bridges. If you go there right before the tide's going to really run really hard, and you can bring them out, man, there's some big fish there. But
Yes,
a
there
lot of
is.
fun.
But before I get into the next thing I'm going to ask you, man, you brought up my buddy Tanner. I got to be honest with you, man. That's one of the people that I miss the absolute most from Florida. This kid, he's such a good kid. He's been through a lot, and he has that passion. That when you talk to him about fishing, he gets really really passionate about it, man. I haven't seen that from a lot of people, and he's one of those kids that when you walk into the shop and you talk to him, you can sense that, and he gets you the right gear you need, and what you need to use, where you need to use it, and that kid is gonna be filling in your shoes one day, and I'm 100% sure that Billy Bones is in very good hands.
Oh yeah, he's amazing. I mean, all he went through, and I appreciate the kind words. He's 24 now, but he was 8 years old there, and he gets slapped with a brain tumor, brain cancer, and
Yeah.
through hell. But I kind of always was there with him, and I mean, over the years, yes, he would be at the store with me, going to tackle shows, and if his body was okay and the chemo, all of that stuff, when we got past that, and still so many issues, crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I brought him on a boat. I literally carry him on my boat, leave my wheelchair on the dock, and put him in a chair. And I was joking about it the other day, because just like you said, the way he loves to fish, and here he is, been through hell. He was vomiting just because of the chemo and all of that, but he's on the boat. It's like God just like gets that little 9-year-old kid then, or however old he was, and just touches him with all the strength in the world to hold a fishing rod and have fun. And I know he wanted to catch his first mahi, and the seas were picking up, and I was like, buddy, I said, I don't think it's going to happen here. And I was in a 23-foot boat that we happened to have that time, and he goes, Dad, he's like, keep going out. He wanted to get his mahi, so he did. He caught one that was smaller that day, and then we went out again on a better day, and man, he had a mahi that was probably 35 pounds. Wow. And then he was really gifted. Thank God that day he was on a boat. I mean, just watching over my boy and us, and then after that, he hooks up, and I remember taking a picture and everything. His very first sailfish on a planer, on a rigged swimming mullet. So it was crazy. Here he's got two giant dolphins. The first one we lost, my buddy was being an idiot talking on the phone while he's trying to gaff a fish. But yeah, that was stupid. But he was rewarded because he got one pretty damn close to the one that he lost, and that was in a boat. But he's with me all the time. I can't be more grateful. I'm the luckiest dad in the whole world having him at 24. He can't drive or anything because all of his eye surgeries and stuff like that. But yeah. I mean, he's a normal kid, and he gets around. He's very smart. He runs his own little business selling live koi fish, colorfulkoi.com with a K. And, he just loves it. Like you say, and he just keeps going. And that's his passion. And I noticed you too, Chris. I mean, I know over the years, and working with us, you have this bite and this passion, and you wanting to do charters and stuff. And I will say that when you went back to do the charters and you had left because you were heading back to New Jersey, you had quite a following. Chris had quite a following, guys, at that store. A lot of people really enjoyed his advice. They enjoyed spending time talking with him. And after he left, there was many people, Chris, that went there, and they were looking for you. How's he doing? Where is he? And I would tell them, hey, fish magician Chris, And a lot of people were looking you up and so on and so forth. But,
I mean, my time in Florida, man, I gotta say it was very special to me. It's something that I'll never forget, and I know for sure I'm definitely going to be down there again one day when the opportunity and the moment is correct. Right now there's just a lot going on in Jersey, but I guarantee you I will be back in the Sunshine State sooner or later.
Oh yeah. And if you ever wanted to work again, I mean, you got a job with us, but
without question.
Yeah, you're definitely worth a lot more money. I know that, but it's a bait and tackle store. So if I get rich, my son Tanner says we're going to open up a bait and tackle store down in the Keys and call it Bikini Bait and Tackle and have the girls work the dock. You could just put your mind together and figure what he's thinking about. But
look at Tanner being a little marketer over there.
He's thinking about it, man.
I hear that, man. But we did speak about the shop, man, and Billy Bones Bait and Tackle. Hey, man, I spent about 6 or 7 months down in Florida, and I visited so many different tackle shops. And I don't want to downplay anybody, but most of them were not that great. And then when I came across your store, the first one that I went into was the one in Port St. Lucie, which was the big store. And you are geared up to the teeth in absolutely anything any angler could possibly need in salt and freshwater. And also, you have a second store in Stewart, and the importance of having all this different stuff that anybody can choose and say, do I want to use Savage today? Do I want to use DOA? Do I want to, stick to my Jersey roots and go with a swim shad and gulp? You know what I'm saying? What is the importance of keeping a store that packed with that much gear for any given angler that is willing to walk in that door?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, walking through the door like me all them years ago, and being like that and trying to have better stock, and not just be your average Joe or like, unfortunately, I've had now it happened again. Another person, they work and they say, oh, I'm going to do my own shop. They don't say anything and they open up right near you and they just sell everything like too cheap and there's no profit in it and stuff like that. And you say, well, how long can they take it? And two employees did that already. I mean, it's kind of sad, but I
Yeah.
mean, I just try to stay who I am and treat people right and do that. That's to answer that question. And I'm just grateful for every day, and God gives me the strength to be who I am and do what I got to do, and for my family and my son, and just stay me, and do whatever I can, try to support different
I,
foundations, do things, and so on and so forth.
I agree, man. And from personal experience, I can honestly say this, for everybody watching, they know that I don't feed bull. And from personal experience, you are one of the most kind-hearted people I've ever met in my 34 years of existence. And just from person to person, man to man, just keep being who you are and never change, because you are a good one indeed, Bruce.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. As are you, and you're a great human being, and helping me at the store. You were incredible, and of course, you were always there ahead of your time, and you just had everybody. You had the customers really happy, because that's the thing about being in a bait shop. You always got to remember, keep it in your heart, keep it in your mind. Being the owner of a bait shop, I mean, you want to be that person that loved to go fishing, which you still do.
Absolutely.
You can't fish as much because you're at the store a lot, but you
Yeah.
know, if you feel like you're going, sort of, because they're going out, and then they'll stop by your shop and you're still on a shift, and they're like, "Yeah, we killed a dolphin today, or we did this, or we did that," and you're like, "Oh shit!" But you want to just close the store and go, but you can't. But there's a
Yeah.
lot of benefits for it, and I appreciate
Absolutely, man.
it.
But hey, man, before we wrap this up, let people know where they can follow you. Maybe an Instagram, a website. What's the store's phone number? Because I know plenty of people down in Florida watch this as well.
Okay, so our number to the store is 772-335-3715. That's the North Store. The South Store is 772-200-0350. But if you Google us, we'll pop right up. And the other thing is on Facebook, we are Billy Bones Bait N with an N tackle.
Mhm.
And you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram. With the @ Billy Bones Tackle, I believe. I don't think it's Bait and Tackle, Billy Bones Tackle. And you can follow me directly there. And we post up a lot of pictures and so on and so forth. And this weekend is Christmas Eve, and me and Tanner will be there from 6 till 1 doing a name your price sale, meaning that it's kind of helping the customer. Again, this is going back on that. So say you have a $99 rod and reel, that's what I'm selling it for. They could say, well, they're not going to say $5 or 50. You can't. There's not that much money in it. But if
Yeah.
if they're naming a price that's reasonable, like say they say $85 or $80 or 70, you never know. You might get it, and save all
Yeah.
that. You don't have to go Amazon, Walmart, all that other bull crap. And most of our
Exactly.
combos got the line on them already. So we'll be doing that sale this Saturday. And it's worked. We had a few really, really low ones that I let go, but I try to do it because, like I says, we got to be competitive. We got to be customer service. We got to try to help people. And I got to tell you, a lot of people are just having a hard time because of price of gas and everything else and food. So I see a lot of people struggling and customers struggling. And I try to do what I can to help. That's what I do.
Absolutely, man.
How I
I
live it.
agree. And just to make it easy for everybody listening and watching, I will drop down the links down below so you can go follow Billy Bones Bait and Tackle along with the phone numbers and everything. So, guys, check him out. I'm pretty sure you will find something that you use or definitely want to use in your tackle box. And Bruce, thank you for your time, man. I know you've had a long day. I know for a fact that you were at that store at 4:45 a.m. this morning opening up.
Yeah, we're doing a lot tomorrow. I get to go fishing, but I was going to tell you while I had you on a horn here anyway, was I spoke to you earlier about those Savage gears.
Yeah,
I have really some really nice Savage gear. I was going to mail some out, so maybe you could give them out to some customers. You try some yourself. We have sand
absolutely.
deals, stuff like that. I mean, amazing needlefish. I mean, some really stuff that'll work good for stripers. I'll be sending some stuff out to you to give it out on the
That's
podcast.
awesome, guys. And hey, anybody watching, you had the opportunity to win it. And I'm going to make a way to make this giveaway a little bit interesting. So stay tuned for that. And once again, Bruce, thank you for your time, brother. I really appreciate it. You have a great night.
All right, buddy. Great talking to you. You're a great friend, and I really appreciate being on your show and
Thank
my old roots, Jersey fishing, man. And
you.
like I tell you what, the Fisherman magazine. By the way, I'm just going to say something really cool. If you guys are watching on air and you're from the older days, you'd remember Captain Al Ristori. He's a good
Mhm.
friend of mine. He's very big known with the Star Ledger and all articles and stuff. He's pretty close with me down here. We fish together, and a lot of them are down in Florida now. A lot of those guys that were big Jersey fishermen here in Florida now. So thanks for everything, Chris, and God bless, buddy. I appreciate it.
You too, brother. Happy New Year. Well,
Happy New
man,
Year.
that
Have a
was
Merry
fun
Christmas.
talking to Bruce, man. Brought back a lot of memories. Just an overall good person. I do miss my time down there. I lived in the Keys for a while. I lived in Fort Pierce, Florida as well. Then in Hutchinson's Island, and I was looking around for work, some side work, and Bruce. So we and him we spoke, and I guess he saw the passion that I had in fishing, and I can tell the passion he had in fishing, and we clicked right away. And it was an absolute fun and honor working for him and Debbie down there at Billy Bones Bait and Tackle. Just an overall good family, good people who try to help as much as they can their community. So check these links down below, and give a follow and try to support Bruce. He does a great job. He does a lot for the community. He tries to help everybody he can. So check out Billy Bones Bait and Tackle. They are great. So, guys, before we wrap this up, I want to let you know what's going to happen for 2023. The Angler Talk podcast, I just don't have the enough time to do this on a weekly basis. We're not going to quit. We're not going to stop doing this. We're just going to make this more of a monthly thing as opposed to a weekly episode. It is a lot of work. I do a full-time job, and I do have a family, and it is a lot of stretching out that I'm doing. So we're going to try and bring to you at least one episode every single month. That shouldn't be an issue. If I can bust out more than one episode a month, I'm definitely going to make that happen. But stay tuned. My plan for 2023 is to put out a lot of fishing content, so I can actually show you, instead of just telling you how to catch fish, I can actually show you and teach you how to do this. So guys, stay tuned. I hope you have a very happy new year. Enjoy it. And I hope you catch a lot of slobs in 2023. So guys, please don't forget, get out there, bend some rods. And for 2022, I'm out. Tight lines.